Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a big, loud, and very loaded topic, America's gun culture. Why is it so strong? Why does it seem like Americans love their guns almost as much as they love bacon-wrapped bacon? This isn't just about news headlines or Hollywood movies. We're digging into history, culture, law, psychology, and a bit of good old-fashioned irony. Whether you're from the USA or watching from abroad, stick around. Because things are about to get triggered in every sense of the word. A quick bang through history. To understand America's modern gun culture, we need to rewind the tape to the 1700s. Picture powdered wigs, wooden teeth, and a lot of angry colonial dudes. Back then, owning a gun was almost as essential as owning pants. People needed guns for hunting, protection, and, of course, throwing off the British. The Revolutionary War wasn't just a bunch of tea-dumping protesters. It was an armed uprising. So from the very beginning, guns were tied to American identity, freedom, and resistance to tyranny. The Founding Fathers even put the right to bear arms right there in the Bill of Rights, next to freedom of speech and religion. So yeah, guns have been around a while, like we had muskets before malls kind of a while. The Second Amendment, friend or firearm. The Second Amendment says, and I quote, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Now, scholars, courts, and people on the internet have argued endlessly over what this actually means. Is it about state militias? Is it an individual right? Do arms include AR-15s, slingshots, or lightsabers? For much of USA history, the Second Amendment was interpreted more narrowly. But in recent decades, especially with the landmark Supreme Court case, District of Columbia versus Heller in 2008, the interpretation has leaned heavily toward individual gun rights. So legally speaking, the gun culture isn't just cultural, it's constitutional. The frontier mentality guns and the Wild West. America didn't grow up in a neat and orderly way. It sprawled out, pushing westward over mountains, deserts, and a whole lot of indigenous land. Settlers had to fend for themselves, and the gun became a symbol of survival and self-reliance. The Wild West may be more Hollywood than history, but it left a big mark. Cowboys, outlaws, sheriffs, all packing heat and solving problems with a six-shooter. Even today, that independent, rugged, do-it-yourself mindset is baked into American culture. Want to feel safe? Get a gun! Someone threatens you. Defend yourself. Don't trust the government. Better be armed just in case. It's like a John Wayne movie mixed with a Home Depot commercial. Pop culture and the power of the pew-pew. Speaking of Hollywood, guns are everywhere in American entertainment. From cowboy shootouts to action movies where the hero never reloads seriously. Where are those magic guns? Firearms are glorified as tools of power, justice, and badassery. Think about it. James Bond, John Wick, Lara Croft, The Terminator. Even cartoons sometimes feature wacky gun antics. That sends a message. It tells people that guns magdrest cool, capable, heroic. Now, to be fair, not everyone buys into that. But media does help normalize guns. It makes them seem like everyday objects, even if you're not in a war zone or a Fast and Furious sequel. The NRA and gun lobby. Okay, now let's talk politics. Enter the NRA, or National Rifle Association, founded in 1871. The NRA started out as a marksmanship organization, but evolved into one of the most powerful lobbying groups in American history. The NRA has poured tons of money into lobbying, campaigning, and shaping public opinion. They argue that gun ownership is a fundamental American right and fight hard against gun control laws. To many Americans, The NRA is the voice of patriotism. To others, it's a roadblock to reform. They're like the final boss in the video game of gun legislation. Self-defense and the fear factor. In surveys, a large number of American gun owners say they have guns for self-defense. It makes sense. Crime, home invasions, uncertain times. Having a gun can feel like having a safety net, but there's also a cycle. More guns can lead to more fear, which leads to more guns. It's kind of like trying to cure a headache by hitting yourself with a hammer repeatedly. Also, the USA has relatively high rates of gun violence compared to other developed countries, which fuels both sides of the debate. Some say it's a reason for stricter laws. Others say it's exactly why they need to be armed. Politics, polarization, and the culture war. Gun culture in America is also wrapped up in identity politics. In many ways, owning a gun has become a political statement. It's not just a hobby or a tool. It's a flag in the ground that says, "This is who I am." Democrats and Republicans often have opposing views on gun regulation. Some see any regulation as a slippery slope to tyranny. Others see the lack of regulation as a public safety hazard. The result, polarization. This isn't just about policy anymore. It's personal, it's tribal, and it's one reason why the debate never seems to move forward. Guns as a cultural symbol. Let's zoom out for a second. Guns in America aren't just weapons, they're symbols. For some, they represent freedom, independence, and strength. For others, they symbolize violence, fear, and division. In rural areas, guns are often part of family traditions and passed down like heirlooms. In urban centers, they might be seen more through the lens of crime and danger. Same object, wildly different meanings. It's kind of like how one person sees a pit bull and thinks loyal companion, while another sees a pit bull and thinks, ooh, oh, what about other countries? Now you might be wondering, don't other countries have guns too? Yes, but not like this. Countries like Switzerland and Canada also have gun ownership, but they don't have the same level of gun violence or the same cultural obsession. That's partly due to stricter laws, but also because guns in those places aren't as tied to identity. In America, the gun isn't just in the closet. It's on the bumper sticker, the t-shirt, and the political campaign. Conclusion. Triggered. Yet. So why is gun culture so strong in America? Because it's tangled up in history, identity, fear, politics, and pride. It's not just about owning a tool. It's about what that tool represents. Some people see guns as a right. Others see them as a risk. And many see them as both. But one thing is clear. You can't understand America without understanding its relationship with guns. So, the next time you hear someone talking about the right to bear arms, remember, they might not just be talking about self-defense. They might be talking about who they are. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, what's your take on America's gun culture? Let's keep it respectful, keep it smart, and maybe keep the safety on. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.